ZeBirdBrain, and today we're talking about rigging. So last time we talked about the deformers in general, and this week we will focus on the bone deformer. So the bone deformer is very useful to create anything that is rigid. So it's not good for wavy hair, it's not amazing for rubber holes character. It's really made for things that look, like bones, because that's what it does. So how do we create a bone deformer? First, you select your drawing. I like to select them in my node view just because it's quicker, but you can also click directly from your timeline or get them with your transform tool and click on the drawing. And then you go get your trusty rigging tool. You enter your rigging mode. And then to create a bone deformer, the technique is the click. So you click once to get your first drawing, then you click another time for the next, and another time, and another time. So each time you click, it will create a line between your two joints, and this is actually the bone. This is what will move your animation later on. So one thing that is important to note with the bone deformer is that each of these little points are linked together. So if I take the offset, which is the first point you create in a deformer chain, and I move it, everything will follow. So it's very important to create your deformer from the start. Because if I keep fixing the end of my bone deformer, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna correct the beginning, well, everything is gonna move too. So start with your beginning, make sure it's all right, then move your points in the right order so that you don't waste time. So where do we place our joints? Well, there's no exact right or wrong. You have to test your deformer as you create them. It's like a rule amongst rigger. You test your deformer before you give them to an animator. It's like super important. But generally speaking, I like to have my joints just a little outside of my shape. And depending on what I'm rigging, I tend to put the point just a little outside of it as well. I don't know, it just works well. So then when you move it, it's smooth and it goes very well. Alright, so this is for the little sticks, but what about these little circles? What are they and what do they do? So sometimes people use them to make their character breathe, but it wasn't made for that. It's actually to decide how much your bone will bend. So for now it's very, very sharp, but if I go and change it to make it larger, you will see that my bending will be a lot smoother than it was before. So rule of thumb, generally when we rig, we will place the bone in the center and we will have the kind of pivot point be as large as your shape. You can make it a little larger, you can make it a little thinner. It just depends on the look you want, but in general, if you make it as wide as your shape, you should be good to go and it will deform very nicely. And yeah, so these are the two things you can edit in a bone. You have the sticks and you have the circles. Of course, like I said before, when you plan your rigging, you're supposed to plan it before you animate, because if you change all of these after you animate it, it's gonna mess up everything. So what if you're moving your deformers and you want to reset them to 0? So you can select one of the points or multiple points, and then you just click on this little icon, which is called Reset Current Keyframe, and it will reset them to their default position. Alright, last but not least, so the offset is the beginning of your deformer. So if you move the offset, it will move everything else around it. And yeah, so you have to know that each time you change a bone, it will push the other one away. Just like when you build it, you have to start from the beginning and then make your way towards your chain. Be careful, because if you select multiple points at the same time and you move them, you get something very weird. Because like they keep influencing each other and it's making your stuff struggle. So don't select multiple points and move them, because you're gonna get nasty surprises. Alright, so last but not least, we will talk about the performance of this deformer with texture. So as you can see, the bone deformer is very tolerant to texture. So don't be afraid to use this little deformer with texture. However, if you push it too hard, I'm gonna try to break it, but I don't know if I'll be able to. Oh yeah, okay, I did it. So sometimes you will get this little effect. If you see this happening in your deformer, don't be scared, check your render. This is just Harmony trying to optimize how it looks into the OpenGL view, but in render it usually works fine. So always check your renders to see if it's okay. Oh, if you want to attach the hand to the deformer, I'll talk about that in the other video. So, alright, so that was it for the bone deformer. I hope you learned something, and I wish you a very nice day.